If you are under the impression that your pelvic floor needs to be strong for birth, I've got some news for you. Your pelvic floor needs to be less like a tumbling mat and more like a trampoline. Let's talk about why and what that means for your whole system. Your pelvic floor is meant to be a shock absorber for your body. Okay, so like an exercise mat, like in a gymnastics gym, the ones that like fold up, or you had them in, third grade gym class. If you fall on that, it will cushion some of the fall, but what's under the mat? The hard floor, and you're going to feel the floor a little bit. Whereas with a trampoline, when you fall onto a trampoline, you just badoing, right? Like you're just bouncing. The exercise mat is, it might even be thicker than the trampoline, but it sits on the floor. It doesn't move when the pressure hits. Whereas the trampoline is dynamic. It moves with you. The trampoline is strong enough to hold some weight, but it has give to it. The gymnastics mat, the tumbling mat, is like the pelvic floor constantly being on and tight. It has no room to yield. It can't move at all when you cough, when you sneeze, when your baby is descending in labor. It's struggling. So we need more trampoline, less tumbling mat. And remember, in birth, your pelvic floor needs to stretch and get out of the way so that the uterus can do its thing. The uterus is the one contracting, right? And the pelvic floor just has to relax and get out of the way. All the red stuff is the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is your shock absorber, and it's designed to respond to pressure because you have pressure inside your system. If you are, for example, constantly bracing your core, like you got into that habit because you thought it would make you look skinny or whatever, and then you carry it into pregnancy, you are creating and trapping pressure in your system, and you're not letting things move naturally. You're not letting your belly relax, your pelvic floor even relax. And that's going to lead to more aches and pains. That could lead to prolapse. That's going to lead to a more severe diastasis recti, the separation of the abdominal muscles. So we don't brace your core, don't clench your pelvic floor, don't do a million Kegels. Those things are all going to create more tension and not allow your pelvic floor to be the trampoline, the shock absorber it is meant to be. Remember, your pelvic floor muscles, yes, they need to be strong, but not for the reason you think. They don't need to be strong to push the baby out. The pelvic floor doesn't push the baby out. Your uterus is where the baby is, right? And the uterus is basically a bunch of muscles that has muscles around it. And that's what's contracting in labor. And the uterus contracts to help your baby descend and leave your body. But what's down here? The pelvic floor. More muscles. If they contract, because they're so strong, if they contract, it's like closing the door and locking it. Instead, we need the pelvic floor to relax and let the baby out. The pelvic floor's only job is to lengthen, soften, relax, open so that, like I said, the door can open, the uterus can push the baby out. But if the muscles are too tight, like that hard tumbling mat, the uterus is going to have to work really hard, and it's working against someone, right? Like they need to work together. So remember, less tumbling mat, more trampoline, less tightness, resistance, what we normally think of as strength, and more supple, responsive, ready to let go, willing to surrender, all of these things. And, the way that we learn that is through doing breathing exercises and pelvic floor relaxation techniques. But one of the best things you can do is understand and practice the connection between your pelvic floor and your jaw or your whole face, because that's really the secret and the key to unlocking the pelvic floor. So go watch that video next, and I will see you there.